Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Movies and TVs on the Ball. And since today is Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day to all my fans and subscribers, everyone out there that's celebrating the Day of Love. I decided since today is Valentine's Day, I'm going to, instead of reviewing just one random romantic movie or Hallmark movie, I've decided I'm going to just kind of do like it's not really a top 10 list of favorite romantic movies, but just a list of my 10 favorite um, romance movies. So settle up and hope you enjoy. Here we go. So number one is number 10, I guess, is Princess Bride. One of the things I love about this movie is I love the relationship with Buttercup and Wesley. I love the fact that Wesley says "as you wish," but when you watch it at the beginning of the film and how Fred Savage is basically talking about, he's sick and how he just doesn't want to, deal with it because deal with romantic stories because he's still at that age where he still thinks girls are icky. um, but I feel like I love when I watched it a couple of times. It's a great film. It's got action, adventure, but since today's Valentine's Day, just the relationship between Buttercup and Wesley and how they kind of fall in love together, whereas in the how they fall in love together and how they talk about love and and like how she treats him kind of like dirt at the beginning of the film, but then really starts to fall for him. I love their relationship, and so that's the reason why Princess Bride is on the list at number 11. Number 10 is, or number 9 is Runaway Bride. What I like about Runaway Bride is I liked when it came out in 1999, which was sort of like a 9-year anniversary between uh, Pretty Woman, which starred. It was directed by Gary Marshall, and it was also directed by Gary. Runaway Bride was also directed by Gary Marshall, and Runaway Bride. I liked the fact that it was really about sort of a woman who was so scared to fall in love that she uses men just to kind of try to find that wholeness in her. But I also like the fact that um, in Runaway Bride, just the relationship, just the character dynamics, or not character dynamics, but the relationship between Julia Roberts and Richard Gere was so strong in that movie. Plus, you got to see just just coming out of SVU, Chris Elliott or Chris Maloney as Elliot Stabler. He was the last boyfriend before she meets Richard Gere. So that was something that I liked about it. Watching it now, but I liked the relationship between it. It was, the fact that she's still trying to, figure out who she was and everything. Was a strong thing. Um, the number I guess She's All That is our next one, and She's All That is one of those rom com teen films that wasn't real. It starred Freddie Prinze Jr. and Rachel Lee Cook, and I mean it was the ugly duckling, Pretty Woman kind of, or Princess Diaries kind of thing, where he had a bet with Paul Walker, who plays kind of a jerk in this film, and how he basically bets that because he basically gets his girlfriend breaks up with him and goes with Shaggy in uh, Shaggy in the goes with Shaggy at spring break, and this is like right before prom, and Freddie Prinze Jr. is basically going as prom king, and he's got to find a date. So he picks Rachel Lee Cook, who's got ugly duckling syndrome, where she's not that attractive because she wears glasses and she's an artist. But once you take off the glasses and shake her hair, she's beautiful. And what I liked about it is I liked Freddie Prinze Jr. and Rachel Lee Cook's chemistry. That's what makes it good. And I also like the fact that Paul Walker, R.I.P., was also such a great villain in that film. So She's All That is on the list as well. Uh, number a number, and this is more. The next one's going to be mostly on um, the reason why I'm cover the reason why I'm covering this one is I've already kind of covered it in detail in a podcast already, but what I really liked about it was the relationship between Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles in 10 Things I Hate About You. What I liked about it was, and I'm gonna go more into the dynamic of it, was that Julia Stiles kind of was sort of like so there was such a charm. They were so charming together when you saw them as a couple, and how they kind of hate each other, but then then they end up together. But then he lies. She reveals the lie. Reveal. Same thing going back to She's All That, and that's kind of the reason why I kind of clustered them together. Was She's All That dealt with the liar revealed, and she says, am I a bet? Am I a bet? Am I effing bet? And it was so strong in that film. And then the other thing is I liked the and going back to 10, but I also like the fact that if you looked at 10 Things I Hate About You, I also like the relationship between um, Joseph Gordon-Levitt and um, um, Laura Ulk, who plays the sister of Julia Stiles. I felt they had a really good chemistry together. So that's what made 10 Things I Hate About You kind of on this list. Number 10, the next one is The Proposal. It's got Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock. And what I liked about that was, I mean, this was kind of Ryan Reynolds. It came out, I think, in like 2000, early 2000s, right before Deadpool. So he was still kind of in these rom-com movies. He was also in Just Friends, which I thought was an honorable mention for this list. But The Proposal I liked because I liked the fact that Julie Sandra Bullock pretty much just belittles Ryan Reynolds, and then Ryan Reynolds sort of like, oh, he has to go see his family in Maine and or somewhere, I can't remember, and for a reason, and he uses basically blackmail to get something out of her. And I like their relationship was great chemistry together, was a really good thing. So The Proposal's just on there just because I just kind of put it on the list for fun. The next one is 50 First Dates. Now, with 50 First Dates, I love this one because I liked how Adam Sandler and um, Drew Barrymore's chemistry is great. Drew Barrymore plays a girl who basically has amnesia. And it's so bad that it happens every day that she can't remember stuff. And what I liked, and this was kind of in the same vein. And then this is the film with Adam Sandler, where I felt like he was so kind and gracious to her. I mean, till the kind of plot twist, which she finds out that she lost her memory and everything. But they had a great relationship, and it's the same thing we saw in The Wedding Singer, where I felt like Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore had a great relationship in that. So 51st Dates is a great film in the romantic comedy side of it. Uh, number the next one is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. This has Katie, um, Kate Hudson, and Matthew McConaughey. And when I saw this film, I kind of, basically, or I like this one because Kate Hudson plays this girl who is basically she's going to use, basically, Matthew McConaughey as a guinea pig to see how long it takes for her um, to drive a man to break up with her, and it's a pretty good relationship. I like Matthew McConaughey in a lot of stuff. I think he's a really great actor, and I like Kate 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 Hudson in this film as well, and they have a really good dynamic with that. Honorable mention that I was actually thinking of before I wrote this list was Failure to Launch, because Failure to Launch, I liked that because it starred Matthew McConaughey, who couldn't get out of his parents' house. He's like 40 years old, and basically they hire um, Sarah Jessica Parker from Sex and the City to get out of her, or use her to basically leverage him to get out of the house. And what I liked about it is I liked that, I like Matthew McConaughey in pretty much anything, but I liked that kind of, his relationship. And what was really strong, in the same way as what you saw with She's All That, was the use of the F word, because sometimes I feel like the F word is thrown out in a lot of films that they don't really make it into anything. But when Matthew McConaughey says "get the F out of my car," you really believed it. But I did kind of like how Sarah Jessica Parker was trying to use him, and it's kind of, when you watch How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and Failure to Launch, which is a good Matthew McConaughey feature, double feature, excuse me. You can kind of tell that they just treat poor Matthew McConaughey so bad, so bad. So the next one is Head Over Heels. Now, Head Over Heels is another one that I like. It's kind of not really a romantic comedy, but it's more of a film that deals with sort of the stake and identity kind of thing. It's more Freddie Prinze Jr., going back to She's All That, and Freddie Prinze Jr. basically is, you have a, gosh, what's her name? Amy Potter, something Potter. I think Monica Potter. Potter. She is she basically kind of torn off all men at all. She meets this really nice man, but she's a little bit. She thinks she's great. Then she looks over at her. It's got that rear window murder mystery thing, but I like the it's another Freddie Prinze Jr. thing. I thought it was a pretty good one. To name a few, the other one that I was going to talk about there's a lot of other romantic movies that I liked, but that's just kind of a that's kind of a just a kind of a rundown of kind of my favorite romantic movies that I like. I like a lot of them, but that's just a kind of a top 10, 11 list that I'm a huge fan. I've kind of enjoyed. If there's anything you kind of like romantic comedy wise, please list them below. And as always, like and subscribe. And happy Valentine's Day, lovebirds. Take it easy. Peace.